Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project is we're going to be installing this toilet paper holder on the wall. Now this is the unit here that I happen to pick up, and of course there's only one way it can go, so make sure you're aware of which way it's going to go on your wall. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to determine the height of where we're going to put it. Now there's personal preference where you want to mount it, but this happens to be the location we are going to mount it. And the reason we're going to do that is it's about 26 inches up from the floor, which is what is a recommended height, but it's, again, as I said, it's personal preference. All right, so now we have our holder on the wall right here. We took our directions out and we're reading our directions, and it gives you a different kind of a screw to put in there. This screw here, it's meant to go into drywall, so we have to determine if there's a hollow area behind here or if there's a stud someplace in the wall right here. All right, so let me show you what kind of tools you're going to need, and then we're going to get started and we'll get this job done. This is an example of what kind of tools we're going to need. We're going to need a screwdriver, whether it's a Phillips or flathead. We are going to need an assortment of drills. Now it does call for a 932, which is what we have right here. We have a hammer to tap the wall anchor into the wall, a pencil to mark the location, a stud finder, and of course a ruler. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine if where we want to mount our holder, if there's a stud in the wall or not. So let's see if there's a stud in the wall. We're going to take our stud finder, we're going to move along the wall very slowly, and it'll tell you where a stud is located. Okay, so we have a stud right there. And we have a stud right there. According to what we're showing right now, there is no stud where we want to mount it, which is right here. Okay, but to be perfectly sure that there's no stud here, we're going to drill a very small pilot hole in here, a 1/16 of an inch or a 32nd of an inch, just to make sure that there's no stud behind the wall there. And the reason I'm saying to do that is because if you're going to use these, you have to be no stud behind the wall. All right, so we're going to drill a very small pilot hole in the wall now just to see if there's a stud behind there or not. As I said, we determined the height already. We took our bracket and we put our bracket on the wall and we marked the 2 holes that we have to drill. I'm going to drill very slowly. And as you can see how it went into the wall? There's no stud behind there. It's a hollow area behind the drywall. Same thing here. So we know there's a hollow area behind there. We know that there's no stud in the wall. Next we can take our larger bit, our 932, and drill the larger hole now, right here. Same thing right here. Okay. Now we'll take our drywall anchor and we're going to push it into this hole here. I'm just going to push these little pieces of paper like that. We're going to push this in the wall, just like this. We're in here, we'll push it in like that, and now we're going to tap it in to the wall till it's flush. We're going to do the exact same thing on this one here. Put it in the wall just like this, push it in a little bit, and now we're going to tap it in a little more. Okay. Next we're going to take our electric drill and we're going to screw that in a little tighter. And this is why we're going to do it. We're going to drill it. We're going to screw it in with the electric screwdriver like that until it opens up inside the back of the wall on the other side of the drywall, and that will hold the anchor in place. Okay, so let's drill it with the electric drill. Same thing on this one. A little more on this one. Okay. Next, we'll take the screw out. We'll take this one here out. Next, we'll take our bracket. We'll slide our bracket over the screws, making sure that the little cutout area on the bottom is facing down where the set screw is going to go. We're going to put both of our screws in, just like this. And now we're going to slowly tighten it up. Okay, once it's tight, now we'll grab our toilet paper holder and we'll put that on. Now that we have our bracket mounted on the wall and you think the screws are in nice and tight, we're going to grab a handheld screwdriver and we're just going to make sure that they're tight, because with the electric screwdriver, it's very difficult to tell if you're going to over tighten it and wind up ripping a hole in the wall itself. So do it by hand, the final tightening, just to make sure it's tight. Next, we're going to grab the set screw, which comes provided. You can see that there's blue stuff on here. That blue stuff is Loctite, that once it screws on, it holds this set pin in place so it doesn't back out by accident. We're going to screw it in here by hand. Make sure it doesn't cross thread. If it doesn't screw in by hand very easily, then you know you have it cross threaded and you'll need to take it out and start over again. So we're just going to screw it in like that, just till the pin starts to come out just a little bit on this side here. Next, we'll take our bracket, put it over the top this way, and let it come down. And now we'll go on the bottom and we'll set that screw in place. And now we'll hold it where you wanted it mounted. And then we'll screw it in. Make sure your Allen key is into your lock pin all the way before you try to tighten it. You don't want to strip it. All right, you screw it down until it's snug. Take your key out, make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. And the last thing we're going to do is just slide it on, just like that. And that's it, this job is done. All right, the only thing I will tell you is that when you're drilling these holes in the wall over here, make sure that there's no stud behind it by doing that small little pilot hole. If there is a stud behind it, then you do not use the wall anchors, you just screw a regular screw into the stud itself. But in this case, we did have to use the wall anchors to make it a nice tight fit. That's it, this job is done, and we're on to the next one. If you like this video and you'd like to see future videos, please hit the subscribe button down below. When you hit the subscribe button, a bell is going to come up. When that bell comes up, you can choose to be notified of future uploads as personal preference, entirely up to you. But that's it, this job is done. We're going to clean up and then we'll finish for the day. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.